Welcome, I am Eleftheria. These conversations explore psychology, perception, coherence, consciousness, and the hidden structures shaping human experience. So here I am with Jules, wanting to discuss a bit about movement, physical movement. And we'll explain to you what we mean by that. I said that this is not coaching, this is not the physical education of why we need to move and exercise. This is not what that is. So if you would like to know more about movement in terms of physical activity and why you would do it for your biology or diet or losing weight, this is not the podcast to listen. This is movement in its multi-dimensional reality, what it means, why we need it, and how we humans can give it a very simplistic explanation or explain it as something simple that, okay, you need to move. Why? Because it's good for your health and it's also maintaining your aesthetics, because it's a matter of your weight and everything that we're discussing around movement and exercise. But here we are. First of all, Eleftheria, it's just like 20 or 30 minutes ago that I finished movement. And when I say movement, I mean anything that would be classified as exercise or movement which is non-standardized. So some of you already know me a little bit. I do have some type of structure, but it's non-linear in that it's a bit non-specific. So for example, today I started cycling, and then it was a little bit of dancing, and then I moved into circuit training, which involved a bit of Pilates movement and weightlifting. This is not the same every time I exercise. It might be just cycling, it might be just a little bit of dance, and it might be just circuit training or just Pilates. So when I say movement, I mean anything that would take you out of your head, mental space, any other activity, and turn your focus into your physical reality, movement of your body. So we are here to discuss movement and approach it from different angles. Why do I move? Why do we need to move? So let's start by something which might sound very simple, but most people do not think. We tell you that you have created such a reality which is unnatural. It's not your natural, it's not your nature to be in front of a computer, on your desk, working many hours per day, or sitting in front of TV and not engaging in activities which involve body movement. Starting from this point, we understand that exercise is also adjusted to our current reality. So when we say you exercise, many people go to the gym and they go on the treadmill to run or walk rather than being in nature. They do it for a specific period of time. And everything seems to be, or most of the things seem to be adjusted to the physical reality we have created. So the type and form of exercise we have today, it's not what it used to be. It became this way because this is the reality we are facing, we have created for ourselves. So the form of exercises that usually people engage to fit the rest of the structures, the rest of our routine, the rest of our lives. It didn't have to be this way, but it became this way. So movement was always natural to us because incarnating, being born on this planet in a physical body, means we need to do something about this body. It is the vehicle that our soul, our spirit uses to experience this reality. So as you can understand, it's our physical body is not everything we have, because first we spirit, and then we come here and manifest this body, so we have a home for our spirit. But because we come here and here is a physical dimension, we need to do something about this physical body so it's healthy and it can we can maximize the quality time we can have on this planet. So I don't give it sounds simplistic, but it's not. I don't view exercise as something which is very simple and say, well, just move because it's good for you. Yeah, that's very simple. I came to view it as a necessity, fitting the rest of our schedule, the rest of the life we have created, which is very artificial. Currently, very few people live a natural life, and most of us, we are exposed to so many things, from heavy metals and pesticides and GMOs and electromagnetic frequencies, that our body is bombarded by unnatural forces and needs to catch up and needs to adjust. So the least we can do is putting a little bit of effort to understand that what we do for the body is a means to assist it in what we have created as, and it's artificial and it's superficial and it's unnatural to it, because our body adjusts, but as we evolve, it evolves with us. But the closer we are to nature, the planet, the easier it is for our physical body and identity to be balanced and healthy. Now, if we look from a different perspective, our body, the physical vehicle we have, is part of a bigger story, because it's not the only body we have. We have our emotional body, mental body, spiritual body, energy body. We have many bodies. Our physical body is one of our bodies. And when we do things to maintain balance within each separate body and help them integrate, then the more balanced and healthy we are. So if psychologically we're not okay, if energetically we are not okay, what do? We are taking measures to address the problem, whether it's psychological, whether it's mental, if we know the root cause. But sometimes we don't know exactly what it is, and we follow some protocols that fall into our daily life as a preventive measure. And sometimes we bring things back to balance before they become disease, become illness. So Let me give you an example. Let's say you are overworked, you're going to work for many hours, and you're just thinking, I'm exhausted and I cannot do anything. And if you hear this podcast, you say, yes, right, but I don't have the strength, the energy to do something, such an activity. You need to remember that exhaustion is not always physical exhaustion. So if you're going to work and you're physically exhausted, it's not just physical tiredness. It's usually a combination of mental overwhelming, of not having personal space and time to rest and do other things you like or sleep well, which falls into the physical reality, but also goes beyond that, because when we sleep, we also dream, we bring different elements back into balance, which is not our physical rest. So when you're exhausted, it's not just physical, it's much more than that. It could be that you need to take a week off, not just to go to take a vacation, but just to either relax or just go somewhere else so you can see something else, and that take you out of the routine, and that will give you some rest, which is not physical rest, but it's something else. So if your first response is, I'm too tired to do that, let us tell you how physical movement, and I call it movement, not exercise, if you noticed. I use the word exercise only because this is what most people recognize and identify with. But what I'm referring to here is physical movement. Physical movement takes your state of being and shifting it. So let's say that you energetically feel that something is off because either you're in a negative state yourself, or you've been in an environment that it was negatively charged and you absorbed energies from the environment. Through physical movement, your body releases these energies. It helps the energy to move, it releases it, so then you feel more balanced after movement. Movement could be just walking, could be dancing a little bit, it could be anything that would focus on allowing your body to move more naturally and allowing your body to receive that focused care, like, oh, I'm being taken care of. Somebody cares for me. This time is for me. And if only you knew how many things are stored in the body and accumulated in muscles, joints, bones, everywhere in our body, you would be actually shocked in how well your body is doing and how healthy you are. The tendency is for most people to say, look, oh, I have this problem and my body is weak and I don't know why this happened to me, when in reality, that body has received a lot of abuse and mistreatment without the individual being aware of the mistreatment. We tend to think that the body needs much less than it needs. And actually, with everything that is happening, our bodies are divine engines, because if there were not divine engines to fix themselves constantly, we would collapse very soon. We would be like artificial intelligence or mechanical parts that they need to be replaced or need maintenance. Many of the functions our bodies carry is self-maintenance. It manages by itself without you even being aware. This is why I'm saying that movement is one of the things that it's the least we can do for this vessel. So what else we can tell you to help you understand why movement? When we move, our mind, our mental space becomes bigger, in like thoughts tend to go away for the period of time. You might be thinking whilst you exercise, but actually you're moving the thoughts and the thought forms around. So your mental space increases. By the end of movement, you feel a bit lighter, a bit more, in quotes, empty. And emptiness here means more space for things. You're not overwhelmed. And of course, because movement affects hormones, you even feel better. And it's not your idea, it is happening. You feel better, you feel lighter. You feel the future might be lighter or brighter. So your mental space becomes clearer, more spacious, and your emotions get more flowing. You're not in a state where you feel depressed. You start feeling that emotions shift and your state shifts faster. So you may start movement feeling heavy and angry and discontent. And you may find yourself after moving a little bit that, oh, something shifted. I'm not in the state I was before movement. When we remove discordant energies and thoughts and emotions that are not aligned with the best part of us, we create the space for wellness. This is what movement does, because even if you don't know exactly what's happening to you, by going and do some type of movement, you automatically affect all your bodies. So this is a healing modality that is easily accessible, not very complicated. For example, if we're talking about how to balance your mental space or your psychological state or your energy, it would require, it seems to be a bit more complicated in what it requires of you. But physical movement is the first faculty that somebody can actually interfere with and start managing everything else without even being aware of it. So, the reason why we say that movement is important is also because it is one of the structures that is visible to us. So the effect of movement with time is seen, and it's seen in our health. That could be having some exam and seeing that, for example, your blood tests are good, but also it is your looks, like you maintain your weight, your structure looks healthier, and your body is more able to do things in your daily life that would otherwise be possibly tiring or give you pain or so movement makes you more efficient, and by doing that, it makes you feel more confident. And as we add in our physical daily reality something which is physical, our physical body, when we know that it holds our spirit, is actually part of the action we take to partially take care of our spirit, of our soul, because it is an act of care and an act of gratitude for our soul and for our decision to be down here on the planet and have and lead a physical life. So it is really something which is magnificent movement in itself, because it's the as the physical body, so it is movement. It is the vehicle that holds our different bodies and our soul structure in place. So the more equipped is your body, the more able you are to manifest and bring down different aspects of your soul. Because when we are healthy, and this is the main reason why I move, when we are healthy, we are more able to manifest different realities, different dreams, experience more our different bodies, emotions, mental space, and everything else, and actually experience our divinity just by the simple fact that we are holding a very strong base, which is our body. And because our base is stronger, then we can grow and flourish, if that makes sense to you. It is also, because this is symbolic, that when the base, which is our body, is healthy, it holds a good structure, and it's balanced, we are more grounded on the planet, and therefore we have better roots. So what we're doing in the upper part, which is the trunk of the tree and the branches and the fruits and the leaves, everything else in this symbolic description we're giving now, is more grounded and allow us to experience more this life and experience more our divinity. Because we take action, we respect. It's a matter of respect, actually. We respect our presence here, and we're taking good care of it. So if somebody gives you something and you take care of it, you show that you're grateful for the gift that was offered to you. So if it is a gift to live on the planet, to be incarnated here, and of course you will have struggles, but maintain as much as possible, or return to balance after disease, and hold a more balanced life, that and lead a life that holds for many years, because not everybody is fortunate enough or able enough to sustain a body on the planet for many, many years. So let's say that this could be a privilege. You show by taking care of it that you're actually grateful for the life you're given. We want to say this because you will never hear me making a podcast that is superficial, because in every structure and simplicity, there is a big architecture behind, and it has branches, it has life, there's coordination, there is connection. There is a living organism leading behind simplicity. So you'll never hear me saying something that is simplistic. There's always something more to what we see and what we experience. And movement is one of the topics that, yes, can have the direction of like, how do we exercise? Why do we exercise this way? What do you need? How can we customize it to fill up your needs? Which means you will need a physical educator or a trainer or a machine or a program or a specific form of exercise. But the point here is the basis to understand that everybody needs movement. What form that movement takes, or the biology behind it, or the nutrition needed behind it, and everything else that is correlated with, which is a different aspects of the spectrum, might be irrelevant. The base here is to understand that everybody needs movement. And I will not say how much movement each one needs or what form, because there are some universal rules. Like what I'm telling you is a general rule that every human body needs movement. But the type of movement, the timing, the time of the movement, and the specific exercises chosen are different for each individual. We are not all the same. When we are born, we have a body, and there are some general rules that apply to human beings, and they affect the collective. But then we also have individuality, and we cannot generalize things. And because this is a big discussion, and we can come back to even nutrition, because you will see that the more science progresses, the more different guidelines are added, what is good and what is not good, and how much protein you need, and how much carbs, and depending what you want to achieve. Big discussions. But we also see trends in these discussions, something that becomes a fashion, but then with time, either science says something else or they find something else. So what we used to know becomes questionable. And this is why I'm saying that some things are trendy because they express a collective tendency, which might be right for the period of time, a specific era, but then be non-specific or not very appropriate for another era. And this is another discussion. I won't take you there. The point of this podcast is to understand that physical movement has always been present in human life, independently of the era. And what has changed is the form, because our lifestyle has changed. What we have created, which is much more artificial, has changed. So the extensions and the implications for our physical body have changed, and in our way to adapting and understand more of what we need, sometimes we simplify and sometimes we resist the change we need to make, which is absolutely necessary because it was the norm, it was natural, it was given. And somewhere along the way, there was a fragmentation, and it became something that few people would start to do. And then it became something that it's luxury, especially for people that work for many, many hours, and they are workers, and perhaps their physical experience is very demanding, so they don't really have time to exercise, and they need this exercise to actually support their body to do the work they're doing, and they don't do it because nobody tells them they need to do it as well. And somewhere along the way, we've lost the compass of what is right, what is wrong, and why we need to be doing some things. And we are not supposed to be doing some things because they are trendy. We are supposed to be doing some things. One of these things is movement, because they are transcending time and space of our physical reality. We haven't yet reached the level where our body is so light that doesn't need food, doesn't need exercise, and it's a light vehicle. We are very physical still, perhaps not everybody is not the same, but we are very physical. We need food, some form of food. Please do not confuse what I'm saying, like with who eats meat and who eats fish and who's vegetarian, who's vegan. Even if you eat light or the least you could eat, still you eat. And most of us are not yet reached the level where we can just breathe and live out of breath without needing food. That's what I mean. So to the extent, and please, because some people might say that, look, it's not the case that everybody needs movement. Yes, I agree. But we are talking about the average human being here. And we are not talking about the exceptions or the exceptional. We have a physical dimension, a physical identity, and most of us want to experience our physical identity through having material experiences, which could be movement, touch, taste, tasting food, smelling, which goes together with tasting. So we need to, part of feeling content relates to our senses. And movement satisfies our senses. Same way food does, and touch does, and listening to music, or everything we do. I think we discuss different aspects of movement that go above biology or nutrition or explaining what it does to your body. And we gave you a bit of a bigger spectrum of what movement does and why it's absolutely necessary and how we reached the level we are today. And it is our hope that it will motivate you to start experimenting and bringing it to your physical reality, not because it's trendy, not it is because it is must do and the experts tell you to do so, but because it's part of our human identity on the planet, and it goes hand in hand with our physical survival. Until next time, take care.